At 65, Sarah Brightman remains one of the most recognizable voices in classical crossover music. But behind the shimmering gowns, international concerts, and decades of applause lies a story shaped by ambition, reinvention, pressure, and the complicated realities of life in the spotlight. Born on August 14th, 1960, in Berkhamsted, England, Brightman has spent more than 4 decades building a career that has taken her from dance and musical theater to global superstardom. Her journey began long before millions of listeners knew her name. As a young performer, Brightman trained as a dancer and eventually became part of the British dance troupe Hot Gossip. Her early musical career was rooted partly in disco and pop, including her 1978 hit I Lost My Heart to a Starship Trooper. At the same time, she was developing the classical training that would eventually become one of the defining elements of her career. The turning point came in the early 1980s when Brightman entered the world of musical theater. She appeared in Cats and met composer Andrew Lloyd Webber, a meeting that would profoundly influence both her professional and personal life. The two eventually married, and Brightman became closely associated with Lloyd Webber's work. Their relationship later ended in divorce in 1990, but the professional history remained an important chapter in her story. Brightman's greatest theatrical breakthrough came with The Phantom of the Opera. She originated the role of Christine Daae, first on London's West End and later on Broadway. The role transformed her into an international theatrical star and helped establish the vocal style that would become her trademark. Yet the story of Sarah Brightman is not simply one of overnight success. After leaving musical theater, she took an enormous professional risk by building a solo career around a fusion of classical singing and contemporary music. At the time, the boundaries between pop and classical music were far more rigid than they are today. Brightman deliberately refused to remain inside one category. In a 2025 interview with CNA Lifestyle, Brightman explained that her approach was never something she viewed as a carefully calculated formula. She said she had always considered herself eclectic in her musical tastes and wanted the freedom to combine different influences rather than enter the traditional opera world directly. That decision ultimately helped make her a pioneer of the classical crossover movement. Albums including Eden, La Luna, Harem, Symphony, Dream Chaser, and Hymn became major successes, while her voice reached audiences far beyond traditional opera and musical theater. Her official biography credits her with more than 35 million global sales, more than 180 gold and platinum awards across over 40 countries, and more than 1 billion streams. One of the most unforgettable chapters of her career came through her collaboration with Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli. Their recording of Time to Say Goodbye became an international phenomenon and remains closely associated with both singers. Brightman has recalled that the recording itself was remarkably quick, saying the two essentially met, began singing, and completed the recording in a short session. For many artists, reaching such extraordinary heights might have been the end of the journey. For Brightman, it became another beginning. She performed at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics and the 2008 Beijing Olympics, appeared at major international events, and continued touring around the world. She also became the only artist to simultaneously top Billboard's classical and dance charts, according to her official biography. But the passage of time has brought another dimension to Brightman's story. Rather than trying to hide her age, she has increasingly embraced roles and projects that reflect the experience she has gained over decades in the entertainment industry. In 2024, Brightman returned to musical theater after more than 3 decades away from the stage in a major theatrical role. She played Norma Desmond in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Sunset Boulevard, beginning with the Australian production. The character is a former silent film star, confronting fame, aging, and the fear of being forgotten, subjects that gave the role an especially personal resonance for a performer who has spent her life inside the entertainment business. Brightman herself described the role as age-appropriate, explaining that her experiences in life and her career gave her something meaningful to bring to the character. She also said that researching Norma made her reflect on the entertainment industry and on the experiences of performers who came before her. That may be one of the most poignant aspects of Brightman's story. The woman who once played the young Christine Daae was now portraying a character haunted by the possibility that the world might move on without her. Yet Brightman's real-life career offers a striking contrast. Instead of disappearing with age, she has continued finding. The Sunset Boulevard production continued into Asia in 2025, including performances in Singapore, China, and Taiwan. Brightman also returned to Japan and Taiwan for her concert work, demonstrating that her career remains active rather than merely nostalgic. Her attitude toward aging has also been reflected in the way she discusses her craft. In interviews, Brightman has spoken about continuing to train and work with vocal teachers. In a 2026 interview, she explained that she continues to work carefully on her voice and sees it as a gift that requires constant attention and discipline. That commitment helps explain how she has maintained such a long career. behind every performance is years of training, preparation, and an understanding that a powerful voice cannot simply be taken for granted. There is also a deeply emotional side to Brightman's relationship with music. Speaking about her holiday performances in 2025, she described the Christmas season as particularly meaningful because it can bring many different emotions to people. For some, it is joyful. For others, it can be painful or reflective. Perhaps that is why Brightman's performances continue to resonate with audiences. Her career has never been only about technical perfection. Her voice has become associated with memory, loss, romance, hope, and the passage of time. At 65, Sarah Brightman's story is therefore not simply a tragedy. It is a story about surviving the relentless expectations of fame and continuing to evolve when many performers might have chosen to step away. Her life has included enormous professional triumphs, a high-profile marriage and divorce, decades of reinvention, and the constant challenge of remaining relevant in an industry obsessed with youth. She has experienced the strange contradiction of becoming famous for playing characters who fear being forgotten while creating a real career that has proven remarkably difficult to forget. Today, Sarah Brightman stands as a reminder that a performer's greatest chapter does not necessarily happen in youth. Her career continues to move forward, and her recent work suggests that she has no intention of allowing age to define the limits of what she can do. The heartbreaking